Martin, we've just had the semi-finals of the UK Strongest Man, and we're doing our roundup once again of the results. It really went down well last night when we did it. What did you make of day two, first of all?
Day two was amazing. I mean, I was worried at the start because we had rain hammering down, and I was worried it was going to really, have a big impact on the event. It didn't. The crowd were loving it. It was a fantastic day.
It was great, and we started off with Group A, and we're going to look at Group A results. And the first event was the Stones of Strength, ranging from 100 kilo up to 160 kilos. It was going to be originally 175 kilo, but because it was the heats, day two semi-finals, we wanted to get the best guys into the final. We went with the 160, and what did I tell you, Martin? Those athletes proved that they need to be here, because
absolutely.
The majority of the athletes finished the run of Stones. Only 2 men in Group A didn't finish. But the athlete who won that event was the current UK Strongest Man, Gavin Bilton, with 5 stones in a time of 29.38. What a moment that was.
Yeah, big Gav. I mean, he has to do what he needs to do, and he's got to be economical. So to go out there, and do you know what, he did look like he was on cruise control at times, big Gav. He did look like he was on cruise control, taking nothing away from the other athletes, But big Gav, he blitzed them stones, no doubt about it.
He did, and another shout out goes out to Lewis Jack. Lewis Jack was phenomenal. He's really built for the stones. He's really tall, really broad as well, and he done really well in that event.
He's fired up as well, no doubt about it.
Fired up.
Yeah.
Event 2 was the Titanic wheel, and this is a bit of a classic. It's called the Conan's wheel. It's called the torture circle. It could be called many things.
It's called a lot of things.
But it's got one thing that all of those have in common is pain all the way, Martin.
The circle of death. We'll go with that today.
The circle of death.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big, it was heavy, and it was only one man that came out on top there. The UK Strongest Man, Gavin Bilton. He completed the 360-degree resolution in 22.92. For a big man, I mean, he moved quick, Martin.
He moved quick, and we did have thrills and spills on that. Very strange, actually. It's the first time we brought that back to UK Strongest Man, and you'd be able to correct me on this, Marcus, but I would say about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I think it was in the days of Eddie Hall, Chris Gearing and that, when it was in the final, and that was the last time, and that was for distance. Whereas it's the first time I've ever emceed an event where it's actually for time, which it sort of brought a new dimension to it. I've never seen that before, and it was fantastic. 250 kilos again?
250 kilos. I mean, it was bearing down in the forearms.
Yeah.
I mean, Andrew Flynn was talking before the event as if he was going to blitz it. He said he was going to do it in 7 seconds. I mean, he picked it up in the warm-up and he went, whoa, this is heavy.
Yeah, reality check.
Reality check. That's what those guys needed.
Let's not knock his confidence.
That's not knock his confidence. He done really well today.
He done well.
The third event, that they had to do really well in to avoid that dreaded eliminator, was the truck pull. Okay, and the truck pull was big and heavy. We had those lords, builders, merchants, trucks that needed to be pulled up a 30-meter course. A 30-meter course isn't
unheard of. I've never heard of that in competition before. I think that's probably the longest in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a different man this time. A guy that's maybe not really heard of in the strongman scene as much. David Rampley from Wales, surprising winner. 30 metres, he completed the course in 47.8. Okay, what a performance that was.
The Welshman, you know what, he come out, he blitzed that, he goes about his business very, very quietly, Dave Rampley. Dave Rampley's one of them competitors, with all due respect, you don't necessarily notice the whole way along.
He was very consistent.
Very consistent, and that's what wins strongman competitions. No doubt about it, Marcus.
And he avoided the eliminator with that win. So it was him, it was David Rampley, Andrew Flynn and Gavin Bilton who made it through to the grand final. Day 3, they're going to be hyped up for that, Martin.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's set now. You know, Big Gav, he's going to put the hammer down now. No doubt about that. He wants that 3rd title. I've been talking to him, in the mornings, and we've been when he's having breakfast. He's talking about having his 3rd title. He wants it, and he wants it bad.
Yeah. And then there was 3 men who were in the dreaded eliminator. That was Lewis Jack. Really surprisingly to see him in there with Chris Beetham and Davy Jones. But Martin, who come up on top there?
Well, it was Lewis Jack. he come through, and
thank goodness.
yeah, he did come through, and he was so. I mean, when I say he was so fired up, I got him on interview right at the very end when he completed the course, and his lip was shaking. He was full of emotion. Not actually seen him. Do you know what? From start to finish today, Marcus, he was proper fired up, and I don't know what's gone on with him, but I've never seen him looking so hungry, and taking that into the final. You've got to watch out.
Well, he needed a bit of oxygen after that.
He did.
After the Titanic whale, he pushed himself to the limit and he fell down. And I mean, it just took so much out.
A few of them went over, didn't it, on that?
And he has probably been tipped to make the podium. UK strongest man. So maybe
and it'll be about time as well. Let's face it.
It's about time. He's been here a couple of years, and we wish him all the best, along with David Rampley, Gavin Bilton, and Andrew Flynn into day 3.
Good luck, guys.
Martin, let's look at Group B, and this group, I mean, it's probably one of the most exciting groups out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the group stages are meant to be, you know, I'm not saying they take it easy, but blimey, this one's got everything.
This one has everything from Paul Smith to Joe Oliver, the current under 23 UK strongest man. We talked quite a lot about him yesterday. And Cillein Groom, and we're going to talk a lot about these guys as we go through here. The first event, the same as Group A, was the Stones of Strength from 100 up to 160 kilos. And a really, really surprising performance was the Irishman. I'm so pleased to hear this. I've got a big smile on my face. Cillein Groom come out in top, 5 stones in 43.92. What a performance, Martin.
He wanted to come out, he wanted to make a statement, he certainly did that. Let me tell you something about Cillein Groom. He talks well. Right, and do you know what? His dedication is unbelievable. And all of a sudden, and I say this again respectfully, he's almost like a boy to a man. He's come into this competition as a man. You know, he's grown up, and here's Cillein Groom. You know, and he's running with this opportunity.
I mean, he's only 25. He's only 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him a couple of years ago at Ireland's Strongest Man. He made it into the top 5. And he was quite skinny.
Yeah, he
and
was,
I thought, oh my word,
he's put size on.
This is a bit of a Tom Saltman kind of build about him. And he made second place in Ireland's Strongest Man last year, and he's come out here and he's put in a brilliant performance to make that. And he tipped Paul Smith to the win in that event.
And what does that say when you come out and beat him in the opener? You know, you beat someone like Paul Smith in the opener.
Paul Smith, yeah. Paul Smith was probably expecting the heavier stone, the 175, to be in there. But I mean, he can only do what is in front of him.
Absolutely
Cillein,
right.
that's all he could do. And Cillein, what a performance that was.
Yeah.
Event 2 was the Titanic whale, one that was bringing a lot of drama, particularly in this group. This group performed immensely compared to Group A, and that's no disrespect.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone in this group, except two, completed the full resolution.
Yep.
And the winner of that event was Paul Smith. Paul Smith really, really liked his feat, is really, really renowned for that. He completed the full resolution in 16:34. Martin, I mean, he's athletic.
Paul's got a reputation for not knowing when he's beaten. He's got a reputation for stamina, and he's proved it on grip events, all sorts of events. You know, Paul will just hang on to something, and and he picked that up, hung on to it all the way round, and he wasn't letting go of that. He wasn't. And again, the consistency come from the Irishman, Cillein Groom. I mean, he just turned up to the party today. The full resolution in 2028. I mean, it was just a brilliant performance. He's so built for this kind of event. He picked it up, and as soon as he picked it up, he just flew the whole way around it. So credit to him for keeping going. And the last event was the truck pull. Those lords, builders, merchants, trucks that had to be pulled up the 30-metre course. And a few athletes didn't think they had to do as much, particularly Paul Smith, who was joint leader going into the truck pull. What kind of mentality did he have in there, Martin? He actually, I think I overheard him say that he felt he wanted to save himself a little bit, and his leg, I think maybe it was his leg, or
he pulled a couple of meters.
Yeah, and he wasn't feeling it. He didn't need to do it. He's boxing clever. It's never the best for the crowd, is it? But you know, the eliminator does sort that out, but he was clear, you know, in his head. He does work things out, Paul, as well, so we would have known where he sat in the pile, you know. So, mate, he boxed clever, you know.
And strongman is not just all about strength, it is that strategic thing, man. And it's thinking about how to use your muscles, when and where as well, you know. So the likes of Cillein Groom, he really, really smashed that event. He got third, but he pulled the truck the whole way. Was that I was actually speaking to him backstage afterwards, and I was like, Cillein, you didn't have to do that.
No.
And he was just like, I was so pumped. I just wanted
to keep going,
so I mean, there's that as well, where
he's got that youthful energy in him, where he'll just want to prove that. He's loving the crowd. He's feeding off this crowd here, and they love him.
They absolutely love him. And the winner of that event was Matt Dimond. Dimond, I mean, he was kind of down in the dumps for the first couple of events, and put out a really good time in the Conan's Wheel, and then I think he ended up being down the bottom half of the leaderboard in that event, particularly finishing the first resolution. But he'd done all of the all of the course in a time of 51.6. What a performance for a very particularly big man as well. Good
truck, Paul, and when you see it back as well, and you know, when you watch it on the TV show, you'll see his technique, and his technique was fantastic, and he went through the gears, and he actually had a bit of a slow start, but he wasn't, you know, he didn't come flying out the block, but he went through the gears, and mid-course, he actually said the first 20 metres he felt good, but he had to really dig in, and I wasn't sure about his stamina. But he proved a lot of people wrong, myself included. He's got stamina. And you know what? That's another thing he'll take into the final. You know, if he wants to carry on, he will carry on. He won't give up. He's got the heart of a lion, no doubt about that.
Well, he is tipped by the Daddy Glenn Ross to do really well in the final, and he has made the final, so that expectation, that's the first time that Matt Dimond has made the final. He comes third in the group, along with Paul Smith, who comes second, with that performance in the truck pull, and with the consistency of the day, the Irishman Cillein Groom topped the group with 15 points, and that left then Scott Milne again in the eliminator with Callum Crowser and Joe Oliver.
What did I say yesterday? We stood in this exact spot yesterday, Marcus, and I said Scott Milne will probably be in the eliminator tomorrow, because and there's no disrespect, Scotty. I told him that as well. He knows I said it. The fact of the matter is, Scott Milne. There's three ways to do things: the very hard way, the hard way, or the Scott Milne way, which is literally the hardest way possible. He does it. He does it every time.
He does, and I mean, the Scott Milne way is probably the way of doing things, because his record in the eliminator is phenomenal. I think he's been in eliminators 3 or 4 times.
He must hold the record for
he's made it through every single time, and that was the exact same today. He was in there with Callum Crowser and Joe Oliver, and Joe Oliver and Callum Crowser just had nothing to give. They had proved everyone wrong. Callum Crowser was the reserve going in the UK Strongest Man, and under 23 UK Strongest Man Joe Oliver was the underdog, and those guys have done so well, and I'm so proud to see them perform the way they did today. They've done their countries proud.
Again, Joe Oliver, a real shout to him, because he's come through the academy, and we spoke about it yesterday, so I don't want to but I can't tell you how proud I am that we're all part of this academy that comes through. And Joe Oliver he's just point proven. Point proven. Do you know what? He'll be back next year. I'm pretty sure.
Only 19. He has plenty of years left.
Yeah, he's got 4 years, I think, left in front of him. You know, under 23 level. Yeah. You know.
So Scott Milne joins Matt Dimond, Paul Smith, and Cillein Groom into the grand final to make those 8 competitors into the grand final. The UK Strongest Man. Who's going to win, Martin?
In the words of Glenn Ross, we'll soon see. It's going to be brilliant. You can't take your eyes off it.
If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe below, and let's see some great comments of what you'd like to say. And if you want to go to an Ultimate Strongman show, get your tickets, ultimatestrongman.tv, and we'll see you there.